Hello, welcome to Truth You Want to See podcast. I'm Taryn,
I'm Callie.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, SVU, the Mothership, organized crime because it's finally happening, fanfic
We
writing,
can actually talk about it now. Woo.
and more.
And as we literally woke up today, we got the first OC trailer,
Well, it's the
like
second one
little
technically.
in-depth trailer.
The
Woohoo!
in-depth one is the more they put the storyline in the trailer.
And dang, it's a
It's
lot.
intense. Yeah, we can't technically show you, but you can look it up. Okay.
Yeah, I have to. I mean, like, I watched it without volume. I gotta go back and watch it with volume. But all I know is our girls in travel, y'all, and I can't handle this.
Because we don't know what's going on. A lot of stuff's going on. Because I put them in the wrong notes because I forgot we were recording today instead of tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, but anyway. Um, I guess
And
we can describe it, but you're gonna have to go watch it on your own.
yeah, all you gotta know is Bernie's last line is just
I know we're like, oh,
oh,
well, should have.
crush, her crush.
I didn't pull the notes, but there is some cool stuff coming up. But like she
Like
says,
we love Ellen Burstyn in this podcast. So yes,
yeah, but like there's a lot of stuff going on. Like the first, there's two big arcs, and maybe well, it's sort of, I guess you could say. Um, so the beginning part is we can describe it to you. So Elliot's at the confessional because he only seems to go to the
of
confessional when
course.
things are not going
He
well.
won't go to therapy, but he will go to confessional.
Like you can have both, okay? You can have both. But anyway, he tells the priest. He talks to the priest about. The priest looks shocked. It's actually if you pay attention to what he's
Uh,
he's because Elliot. I should have wait. I think the second the way NBC. I mean NBC's website kind of puts the words out. So I mean not words, but I can read it. So um he said, I promised people I would save them, but I've not been keeping my word. I'm going to do everything I can to stop it.
okay.
And somebody's falling off the roof of a building. Like they're kind of showing what he's talking about and
Yeah,
things are not going.
now that we know the rating is more severe, like okay, they're not hiding anything.
It's going to be a lot.
And so one of the arcs is like a new what they call player, so I'm assuming a new guy in the illicit substance
Yeah.
area.
Hmm.
And then the other one is they are a serial murderer.
Yeah, that's the second arc. The first arc is the more Italian mob kind of thing. Second arc is this. But the beginning part, you see, they're having a dinner with Eli. He's just no, he did join the police academy for real, and they're kind of proud of him. And, he's kind of going good. And then Ayana shows up. It's like, say, but you got to go undercover. And you're like,
Again.
again, like the eighth time again.
Yeah, again. Because apparently he's the only one who can freaking do it. Oh, I don't know. You got all these other detectives for no reason, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly. Um,
But then again, every time you do let your other detective go undercover,
it never goes well.
it never goes well, which is why I'm concerned that they had her do it again. And if so,
There was that. There was Eli.
guys, I'm not okay.
And there's a lot going on here. There was what else was happening? I wish this
I
NBC's
love this
website was a little
one.
bit more thorough because I was trying to read off of it because I didn't feel like watching it again. I was gonna watch it again. But what was I saying? There's that, there's Eli, there's something very important, but we haven't gotten to that yet. We'll talk about that once I remember the rest of it. But there's some undercover stuff going on. Eli may have had to fire his weapon for the first time, and he's kind of not doing great about that. That was in the trailer. I think actually might have shot somebody, and he's not doing well about it because let's like get him out of here or something like that. And
Yeah,
we're like,
Sarah should
oh,
take him
so
inside.
we were like, oh, so we're like covering for your son already? Like, sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I'm not. I was trying to be mean this early in the morning.
Oh god, that's kind of funny. But yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, our girl's in trouble."
Yeah,
Uh,
we don't know the context. Oh, this is
uh,
the part where they talk about the second arc, which is like
uh.
it's serial. It's there's something very violent happening, which I don't. And then they like go to like Jet's in
She
trouble, and we're like,
gets kidnapped by a serial killer. You guys aren't gonna hear me. I'm not gonna shut up because I'm gonna be very scared. Very,
mm-hmm.
very scared.
Yep, because we don't know what order these come in. Well, we do know what arc is which, but we don't know like which parts are in which order from like section to section. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
just
oh,
on the trailer. That's what they're giving us.
and then there's the part where Elliot's in a car crash. Well, this the beginning, his car blows up, and then there's another time where he's in a car
Yeah,
crash again.
literally, one time his car blows up and it's like, Gray, first Kathy, now this. Second time, he literally is in the driver's seat and gets hit by a fucking
Yeah,
truck.
he's at like
And then they have Bernie visiting him in the hospital, and it's like, oh,
she says, "Don't make me have to bury you," and you're like,
ouch.
oh. But apparently, according to our well,
Because
but hold
we
on,
joke
but
around,
apparently
but like,
Chris is on the SVU set, so
oh,
I don't know what's happening, but
damn it! I thought we were done with
these were
that.
exactly. It was just post. It was our friend just posted it in the group chat, so
I thought we were done with
I did
that.
too. I did too. I really did. But I thought we were done
No,
with that.
that's not who I want to see.
That's
Damn
not
it.
who I wanted to see. Exactly. We can't tell you about the thing still because I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, so anyway,
Um,
we joke, but seeing Bernie sad ain't a good thing.
yeah, I was playing. I wasn't for. I mean, I was for. I mean, so like, okay, so like, we were fine if it was gonna happen, but like,
Then we
if it
forget that
actually happens, like,
then we forget if it actually happens, his mom's gonna be devastated, and we're probably not gonna be able to handle that.
yeah, because it still could be happening. I mean, not the surprise, but like,
Oh, I
because
hope the fucking surprise happens because I need it.
yeah, I mean, not. I mean, yes, the surprise, but like the fact
I
that
need
like
the fucking serotonin.
because of like we don't know how much time has passed in OC. Well, we kind of can base it on like at least 6 months or so has passed, the minimum. The reason why I can base that is because like Becky is very pregnant. So that's the reason why in the pictures I'm like, at least 6, 7 months have passed, maybe longer. Between the 6 and 8 months have passed. But anyway,
I thought we were done with this.
we really did. I was over it. We're like, well,
Like I thought, like I don't know. Now they're on two different fucking networks. We were done.
yeah, because of like timing, because of
But
like
it's
how
like,
time passes, it kind of
like
has messed up itself there.
why is he here?
Exactly, that we were done with. Well,
Why are they in casual clothes?
I mean, they probably haven't changed to be unless he's visiting this, but like things like that happen.
I
But
need answers. Ugh. I was happy. Now I'm just
exactly, I was
annoyed.
having a yeah, rules. I don't know what else I was gonna say about that. I think we covered most of that.
Like literally, I was like,
Oh,
okay, now we're
I
happy.
thought we were
Nope,
done with
apparently
that
fucking not. Ugh.
because I thought we were done with that. We were moving
I
on.
thought we were done with this shit. She
Yeah,
gave the necklace back. She gave the necklace away. It was
Okay,
over. It was
done.
done.
Done. You were like, wrap it up.
Ugh,
Let's go.
Lord.
Take my story.
Like,
But
just let it be like nothing, please.
it probably will be because, you know, hold on. Our dear friend is probably well, I guess we haven't like named any of our friends in our group, but like,
I literally texted her. It's like, help, answer. Okay. Anyway, um, uh, uh,
but
if we have
just
to,
not something about
if we have to, like, we need to move on, or else
moving
I'm
on.
just gonna get more and more angry.
Yeah, moving on. Oh, in other words, there is a crossover coming soon. A different
Not
kind of
the one that you
crossover.
think.
Yes, a different one is coming soon. We'll talk about that soon. I know Alexa. Jeez.
Just say
Um,
it's a different one.
the mothership and SVU are crossing over the same night that organized crime is going to be on the TV. They are not connected. None of them are connected. Well, I mean, SVU and the mothership are connected, but organized crime is not.
Like, guys, we're all. That's so God. I can't. Like, oh, good lord. And we know what's happening because um Juliana posted a pic of
Mhm.
her at the
I
mothership set.
mean, I mean, he could also just be visiting the set because the clothes they're wearing are not like
I'm
in
gonna
character
I'm
clothes.
gonna go with that.
They're not in character clothes for neither of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Hold on, we're like texting our friends at the same time. We're
Yeah,
supposed to be working.
guys, sorry, we're like
Well, I
extremely
put that on, please. Oh, I'm sorry, but anyway, about the crossover, it says a mysterious phone call to Captain Benson of the SVU leads the detectives to the scene of a brutal murder. When the SVU and the 2-7 uncover a pattern of R and murder targeting marginalized women, Carisi and 88 Price team up to charge the suspect with multiple crimes.
Oh my god, I figured thanks to a person, I figured something out. I'm sending it to you right now.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so crossover. Very excited for crossover. Very
Sorry, we
excited
are
to see
extremely distracted. It's all of this news.
Carisi. If we're having like Carisi and Price team up in the courtroom, that's gonna
Please,
be.
please, please do it. Do it. Do it. It's not. I'm not asking.
I didn't even realize that was her because
Yeah,
I
I
like
didn't know
is
that until my friend pointed out, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
I didn't realize it went by goes so fast. I was like,
My theory right now is the serial murderer possibly goes under like sex. The serial murderer possibly goes after sex workers, hence the outfit she's wearing.
mm.
But also, yeah, the wig threw me off, so I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, the wig threw me off. That's why I was like,
I
wait
was
a
like,
second.
"Why? Somebody else?" No, no, it's not. Fuck!
What a
She got
day.
kidnapped again.
Too much is going on. What a day it is.
I got grabbed by the neck and kidnapped again.
Again, like we can't do this again. But we can say their performance will be fantastic. That's all I can say.
I need a minute.
We don't have
I know.
a lot is going on. Too much is going on today. I didn't ask for all of this. I really didn't. I wanted to have a chill day, record, do some work, play Hello Kitty Island Adventure like we do every day. You know, that's what I
I mean,
wanted.
I will accept the outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, the wig was throwing me off. I was like,
Warm.
yeah, okay.
I'm worked up a sweat because I'm all sweaty because all this stuff's going on.
Okay, let's talk about the
Moving
episodes
on.
so that I can watch the trailer and freak because I haven't had
Exactly,
time
because
yet.
you didn't listen to it with the audio on because it makes a difference.
Yes, because I didn't know what was happening.
Anyway,
They literally texted me. We're like, wake
I
up,
was like,
the
wake up.
trailer's out.
Like I was like, wake up.
And I was not awake yet.
I figured you weren't because I was awake first. Anyway, so we have the 2 episodes this week. One of them is good, and the second one, SVU kind of dropped the ball a little this last week on this previous
Yeah,
one. SVU dropped the ball.
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. It's called Crossing Lines because it's very obvious some lines were crossed on this episode today.
Oh, for sure.
So there's this guy who's talking on the phone. He's walking through the New York traffic, which isn't a very safe thing to do, distracted, but he's doing it. And he's kind of talking to this person, and they're kind of arguing. I guess they're arguing. You can't hear the other person, but he says, "Whatever happens, I want us to be friends." And then
He
bam,
ends up dead.
Yep.
Because of
He is
course
what?
he is.
He has some blunt force trauma to the head.
Yeah. And then
The witness
Shaw
is
and
like,
Riley show up to the scene, and the witness is somebody who was walking his dog, and the dog is not liking them at all. He just keeps barking. Them,
yeah.
mainly Riley. And the witness heard basically the guy say, the woman that there was a woman talking to the guy, and she said, the witness, that she said, if you ruin me, I'll ruin you. And then she ran away. They then find Baxter's card in his pocket. Because we find out that the guy is the son of a senator who's considered running for governor. So
you gotta have the DA's vote because you gotta talk to him and get the DA's vote.
So Brady goes to Baxter's apartment, and we see him in casual clothes, and there's 2 glasses of wine on the table. So
he's like, "You got somebody over."
you got some, yeah, exactly. Then
That's
his friend Kate walks in. They introduce each other. She leaves, and Brady goes, "Is that your new friend Kate?" And he goes, "Yes, that's my new friend Kate." Like, he seemed happy about it. Like, oh, someone's giddy.
For now.
And then she goes, "Well, you punched above your weight."
Yeah.
Dang, girl. So anyway, they have to go tell the senator and his wife that their son is now dead. They find out that the son was dating a dancer at a gentleman's club. They broke up last night, and she threw a glass at him. And the parents basically wanted to keep that on the down low.
Yeah, because their esteemed son should not be at a gentleman's club with the dancer.
Yeah. So her name is Rose Gregory, and Brady goes back to the precinct and is like, "Okay, Riley, I need you and Shaw to go talk to her." And Riley's like, "Shaw's still in court." So apparently Jalen's testifying for another case. So Violet gets to go with him. Hooray!
Yeah. She's finally
do more shit.
Yeah.
Vince and Violet. I wrote Vince and Violet tag team. I wrote
she's finally out of the office.
because I didn't know if she did or not. We know
I
that
mean, I
she
guess she's
does.
technically she's a detective also. She just doesn't leave. But today's the day. The
Yes.
second time they let her out of the office.
So they go to get Rose. Rose gets into her car. She hits somebody with her car.
Yeah, it was a person
And
on a
then,
bike, like a delivery guy on a bike.
yeah, Violet's like standing there for a minute, and she's like, "Are you okay?"
Exactly. You were hit. This guy just kind of gets up like nothing happened. Like, bro, you were hit by a car.
Yeah. So they bring her in, and they find out that Rose had an unregistered gun, which is legal in New Jersey, but not in New York.
Yep.
And so they're asking about her relationship with the forgot to mention his name was James Powers. So they're asking about her relationship with James. And she goes, she broke up with him because he was old, boring, and kind of a dick.
Like, well,
Fair enough. Um, so then she's mentions that she was with him at like this really exclusive club, like
mhm.
literally for like the higher ups of the city. Everybody's got suit and ties. You can't go in without an invitation.
Yeah, one of those places that you not
And
everybody can get in.
so Brady goes down there, and the security guard is like, I can't let you in. You don't have a key or an invitation or something. And then she's like, well, I've got something that opens every door in the city any day of the week. And she holds up her
And
hand.
you're like, oh, she's right.
And they're not talking to her. Like at first they're not talking to her.
Exactly.
Um, like they're not telling her anything. And she goes, oh, well, I could just get CSU down here and we can have a bunch of cops positioned everywhere.
Yeah, that'll be fun for you in your gentleman's club.
Yeah.
You know, old money kind of club.
Yeah.
The old
And
money kind of
the
club.
security guard's like, okay, fine. I'll tell you he
Mm,
was here. And
like,
at this
that's
point,
all I
she's
want.
also like, there's like this mint jar like on the
Yeah.
table, like this glass bowl, and she like takes a bunch of mints.
And she's like, you know, it's like this is
And then she goes back to the precinct to explain what she did, and they're literally all eating the mints.
and they
She
probably
just
were extra good. They probably were the expensive ones. They were extra good. Yeah, you had to get
um they found out that there was a report that was going to come out on a newspaper that Powers did bad things, which makes sense.
yeah.
You noted that Violet had a little cat holding sticky notepad
It's
and
kind
a
of
bright
cute.
flag. So
It's a
yes.
very
Whee! And it would make sense because the actress who plays her, Connie, is actually queer. So
mm,
do it.
exactly. We can have representation in Law and Order that you don't
Yes.
accidentally get rid of,
Do
or
it. Yeah,
you don't have to get rid of your
really,
representation.
OC, you have freaking two people standing right there. You just won't say that one is yet.
Exactly.
Um, SVU, we could. You just don't
They're
say
kind
it.
of all kind of coded, but like
They're all
not
coded,
explicit.
very much so. Um, our current headcanon is that Kate is definitely. Um,
Yeah, but you know,
and we'll get to that. Um, but now that's like kind of going off that, Violet might actually be. So do it.
mhm.
Um, so then they bring in like this so they bring in like this reporter. She mentions the report. And how this oh no, not a reporter, like
I think
someone who
it's
like handles messes. So like a PR
yeah,
person.
yeah,
And then how this reporter was going to release the report and that Powers did not want it to happen. So we find out that the last person he talked to was the reporter. Her name was Julia Gallup.
mm,
And then we find out that Kate Norris is now defending Julia
yeah,
because literally her and Baxter are just getting ready for the morning.
And she's making her
And she
coffee.
it,
She
and
takes
he's
their
like,
breakfast. It's not a kind bar. I forgot what bar that is, but like she
yeah, and
takes
he like
the
takes
one
his
breakfast
bar
bar.
and leaves. And they got a little kiss, and then she leaves.
Yeah.
And then the next thing we get is Baxter at a diner, and
Yeah.
Nolan is meeting him, and he's pretty much like, yeah, I gotta be honest with you.
We're
I
dating.
have to recuse myself from the case
But you don't have to. But I
because
do.
Kate is the defense attorney and I'm dating
In a
her.
relationship with
And
her.
Nolan's like, what? He yeah, and then Baxter's like, no, you don't have to. You can keep doing it. Like, this isn't gonna affect you guys. And Nolan's like, easier said than done.
Like as soon as
The
you
case
let it to
is
the
oh
floodworks.
my
Like,
god. What are
as
you
soon as
what?
everybody knows.
Yeah. And apparently everybody like they go back to the precinct and literally everybody is already aware that Baxter and Kate are dating and now that this is happening and it's
Like, oops.
great. And so that they start talking about Julia and they're asking her like certain questions. And Sam mentions that they would not be asking these certain questions if she was a man, which we know is the case. Um, we finally get the trial started. We get into the details. We find out that she pushed him down the stairs and hit him with a rock 3 times.
Exactly. That's what we're like. She just didn't accidentally push him. She measured.
And the defense is claiming self-defense because she was going to expose him in his article. And then the defense claimed that he also tried to sexually assault her. James' parents are pissed because
They're
they're like,
very upset.
that little W word killed our son. That doesn't mean she gets to kill our family name.
Exactly. You're like, oop.
And it's basically like to Nolan, like, you need to do this and do this right or else. Great, no pressure.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
The
Really no
other
pressure.
editor testifies. Things aren't going so well. Uh, Baxter gets a call from the senator, and it said that if my father were alive, he'd be mortified,
Because
and that I should also fire Nolan Price.
like, oh,
Great.
like no one's just doing his job.
And so then literally, Nolan's just trying to do his job. So then we transition back to his apartment, and he's getting like to go dinner out and like putting it all in a nice plate. Him and Kate are having a little dinner. And all of a sudden she starts talking about the case. And Baxter's like, no, we agreed we weren't going to talk about the
We
case.
can't talk about that.
And he
Like we're
keeps
opposite sides of
trying
this. We're not
to
talking
do
about it.
that. And she's asking like him questions about Nolan, and he goes, no, don't do that. Don't go over Nolan's head and try to put me against him.
Like, he's like, I'm not answering questions about this. Like,
He
we
gets a
get so
phone
much
call,
trouble
so
about
he
like
has to
talking
go
about
take
this.
care of it. And Nolan is literally outside his apartment.
Yeah,
And Baxter's like, what are you doing here?
you
And he's
drove.
like,
Yeah,
we're in trouble.
exactly. We're in trouble.
He just threatened our eyewitness. And then Baxter's like, what? He's like, Doug Keller, the guy in the
With
park,
the
the
yeah,
dog.
the dog. Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
He recanted.
all of it.
She claimed that he had an OnlyFans page and that his daughter was on a list of substances and that she was going to reveal all that on the stand. Problem is, she lied, and none of that is true. But even if they try putting him on the stand, the fact that he recanted a bunch of times, his credibility is shot. That's it. Like, they're screwed. Also made that note. I made a note of that's obstruction of justice and witness tampering.
Yeah, it's not legal. It's very bad. You can get
Hey,
disbarred. You can get disbarred for that.
and you know, so Baxter's like,
Yeah.
what do we do now? And Nolan's like, we're screwed
Mhm.
unless we figure something else out. Um, so Baxter goes back to his apartment. He thinks Kate is gone, but she's not, and she's upset, saying basically everybody's judging her client for being beautiful and sexual.
They're like, she did kill someone.
It's like, okay, but she also killed somebody.
Yeah, who wasn't doing anything that bad.
And
Like,
then
he
she
sure he bad.
literally told Baxter that, yeah, I did do this.
And then he like,
I did threaten the guy.
yeah, and then,
I
like some some false evidence. You're like,
yeah. So Shaw finally shows up and they're like, okay, we need you to testify to what he said, to what the guy in the park said. And then there's this little moment of like Sam and Kate are walking towards the courtroom together and both like glaring at each other. It's like, ooh, drama.
mhm,
And Shaw is testifying, and then Kate basically tries uh to be like, that's hearsay. And
yeah,
then Nolan brings up a case that's like, no, it's not. And so
mhm,
it works, and he's able to say what Keller said in the park to them.
yeah.
Also, side note, Sam looks really good in red. Um,
Because like red pants and the red blazer and all that, yeah.
yeah. The next thing they find out is the next point of attack is that they want to use that Julia lied on her divorce proceedings.
Because she said she wasn't cheating, but she was.
Basically, credibility. Woo. And the defense tries to argue no, but the judge lets it in. And Sam is having a little bit of an issue because, like, this is kind of personal. This doesn't have much to do with the case. Why are we doing this? And then Nolan brings up a very good point. For once, like
Yeah,
in his disagreements with Sam, he's actually kind of on the right track. And he says we can't give the defendant special treatment because she's a woman.
yeah,
Like, we need to do everything we can to win this case just as much as we would if this was a guy.
yeah,
And he goes on to say we wouldn't be having this conversation if she was a man.
yeah,
Like, we would be using this divorce proceedings 100%, no worry, no issue, done. And although Sam isn't thrilled about it, you can like kind of tell that yeah, they are. And Julia is found guilty.
yeah,
And so the last thing we get is Baxter and Kate talking to each other, and yeah, it's pretty much over.
yeah. It doesn't seem like it's gonna do well for him.
Mm-mm. Okay, so that means it's available again, y'all.
Back on the market again. He said that.
Okay,
Sorry.
note to self: stop dating defense. Don't date a defense attorney
Well, not necessarily that, but like,
unless you're Olivia Benson and his initials are
then
RB.
okay, then yes. But like, don't jeopardize your cases. I don't know.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll give
So
this episode like 3 stars. It was
yeah, it
okay.
was all right. It was all right. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was all right.
Now we got to get to the craziness.
Oh, so they have a. So the next one is called Folk Hero, which will come on tomorrow. It is based on ripped from the headlines from 3 months ago.
Quite literally.
Like 3 months ago. I think it
The
was like 3 months ago.
Luigi
Luigi
kid
Mangione case. Yes, they indeed did
breaks
exactly
down to
that.
the point where he has fans in the freaking courtroom.
Yeah. That actually happened. I know it didn't. They don't think they.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
they
does.
kind of
Like
let
most
people in.
people who like think that Luigi did the right thing. I'm not gonna comment on that because I don't know
We're
enough
not gonna
about
comment. We're not gonna comment on the ethicalness of that
it. Or
situation,
like
but
the
we do know
situation.
that American healthcare is terrible.
And again, as I mentioned earlier, there Juliana posted a picture of her on set with the mothership because there she was like in front of a sign that had Adelia's name on it.
Yeah, it must
So
be in like her like dressing room or something.
she's gonna be on the crossover, yay! Which has now officially started a new headcanon for the two of us,
So
and
this will be fun.
we're going to keep at it until we're told otherwise. Okay. Anyway,
Yeah, this will be. Oh yeah,
SVU.
so basically, yeah, it's you. I mean, the child didn't even much explain. It literally is that. Okay.
All right. So this episode is called Undertow, and it
Probably the
starts.
least favorite of the
Yeah, the same
15
thing.
episodes this season. This
The
one might
same
have
thing.
had at the bottom here.
I mean, like if it was done well, it could have been good, but no. So we'll get into it. So it starts with this couple going to like this really fancy ass hotel for their anniversary, and they got a king suite and really expensive food and drinks, and the husband is 6 months sober, or at least he was until he decides that he's gonna have a drink to celebrate their anniversary.
Mhm.
So they go back to their hotel room, and he tried to be with her while he was drunk, and the wife pushes him away and runs off and goes to cool down at the hotel bar. And she sees this guy sitting there with a beer,
Yeah,
and they're talking. Um, his name is Ryan. Her name is Stacy. His dad was getting married for the third time.
exactly. It's a lot of songs, but you know,
Um, and they get talking and shit. And the next thing you know is they sneak into the hot tub in the hotel.
and no skinny dipping in the hot tub.
They, Ryan starts to undress. Stacy follows suit. Ryan throws a bottle of vodka into the plant in the room. Stacy takes a sip of it.
Yeah.
That's important for later.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much what we got. The next day, the stepmom, the one that
They
her
rented
husband,
out the suits and stuff, so she needs to
yeah,
return it.
the one that her husband just, the one that his dad just married, picks up his suit and pulls out a pair of red undergarments from the pocket. And so the mom is like, "What is this?" And the kid is just, he didn't want to say anything. So the mom immediately went to bring him to the precinct. And we mentioned that today's weird side story is some creep taking pics of people in porta potties because
There's always a weird like
there's always
something
a
they've been
weird.
working on. You're like,
And so Ryan's
his
mom,
stepmom brings him in.
stepmom brings him in, and Olivia goes to help them. And um, Ryan's a little on the fence, but his mom's like, "Nope, you guys need to care." And they're like, "Okay, why?" And then she's like, "He's 16."
You're like, oh,
And it's like, "Oh, so he's a minor." Uh,
yeah. It's a lot of raises
um,
a lot of questions of like. Once again, you mentioned earlier that he was drinking at the bar. So like,
yeah, we'll get to that
you
later
didn't
too.
check his ID. Like, y'all, this
Yeah,
hotel didn't check
he's
his ID. Like,
claiming that something happened.
he didn't
Um,
say it was bad. To him, it
and
wasn't
then
bad.
he's talking about the woman that he met, and they do some research into her, and they find out that she's a sixth grade teacher. Like, and she's 28.
Yeah,
So the way that you look at it now, yeah, a 28-year-old and a 16-year-old, it's not good. Um, the problem is because they go to talk to her, Olivia and Curry, and they're trying to like mention things, and she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what you're, I don't remember any of this. And then her husband enters the conversation and basically is like, honey, they're calling me the attacker.
Yeah.
But she doesn't remember anything. And yeah, so basically now the husband is accusing the kid of rape. She's being accused of statutory rape. It's all a mess. Side note, the actress who played this woman, phenomenal. Her name is Marilyn Casaretta, and she was in Six, the musical, and we love her. So yeah. Yeah, so they go to they interrogate her about this, and they're pretty much like, well, she had a novel way of celebrating her anniversary. She goes on to say that Ryan gave her a bottle of vodka, the one that was in the plant from earlier, and she took a sip from it, and then moments later she felt like nothing and does not remember anything. So they have the kid take a rape kit, and now they're having the girl go to get an illicit substance kit.
Yeah.
And Carisi wants this to just be a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
But the problem is,
The eighth
even
floor
with the
says no.
misdemeanor, she has to go on the registry.
Yeah.
She goes on the registry, she can't teach anymore. Her life is
Can't be
pretty much
around
over.
children. Yeah.
So this is when they go talk to the husband, and they're like, she goes to her husband, and she's like, Billy, they're saying I'm the rapist. And Carisi goes on and is like, yeah, the eighth floor says they have to put her on the registry for this, no matter what. And they're all just like, this is messy. Emily and Frank, the mom and stepdad, come in. And basically, they're like, yes, we know this happened. The issue is there was MDMA and ecstasy found in her system.
Yeah.
Molly, the date rape drug.
Yeah.
And they go to look in his room and they find it. So now we know that yes, this woman did have relations with him, but only because he drugged her.
Yeah.
And then this is where I put a point that it's like there is a difference between this woman and an actual pedophile. She had no intention of wanting to sleep with a minor. She did not know he was a minor. She feels horrible. She feels sick about it. Meanwhile, other pedophiles are like, yeah, and I see nothing wrong with this. Okay. Um, so again, they find the drugs in Ryan's room. Ryan's case, however, is in Suffolk County, not Manhattan.
Yeah.
He said he put them in the bottle, and Stacy took the bottle from the plant and had a sip. And again, in her defense, he literally threw it in the plant. What do you think she was gonna do?
Exactly. Like.
So then they get into more investigating, and they find out Ryan's texts to his friends were basically saying that all of his stepmom's bridesmaids were hot pieces of ass,
Yeah. It's
and that he was going
basically.
to see if he could get to be with one of them.
Yeah. You're right.
And so that is why he was at the bar, texting. I mean, talking with the girl.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not
They
looking
do
well
go.
for anybody.
They do go talk to the bartender, and he's like, I didn't know he was 16.
So why didn't you ID him?
Am I gonna get in trouble for this?
You probably. The whole
That-
restaurant can get in trouble. The whole
yes.
hotel can get in trouble for this.
It's
Because
like, this is
if
why
you
you,
look under 30, you have
yeah,
to
you're
be
supposed
ID.
to ID.
If you look under 30. I know I don't look close to 30. You don't either.
Yeah, no. I still get ID'd, y'all.
I still do. So.
Yeah. And basically the husband and the stepmother are arguing because it's like, oh my god,
He did something bad, but also
he
something
did
bad.
something bad, but he also got assaulted and uh uh we then find out that the husband's cousin took a picture of it happening.
Yeah.
And there's a huge smile on her face when, but again, that's like the feeling of, that's the ecstasy. And we don't know if this picture is gonna help or hurt. And you're at the point where it's like, Greasy does not want to be taking this case, but he doesn't really have a choice. Because in the law,
Yeah, the law
he's
says
a
not
minor.
feel. What was I doing? I had a whole I was checking.
I still think the kid is faking because, like, with all the text messages, like, he intentionally wanted an older woman. Um, oh, we forgot to mention that the brother-in-law for the girl was her her lawyer. Um, so the boy is on the stand, Ryan's on the stand, and he's basically like, I'm 16, I never did anything like this. I'm experienced. She was the one who was leading me on. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you threw the bottle in the plant pot. The defense makes him reads out the text message about wanting the older woman and the bridesmaids so he could go tell all his high school friends. And then he kept the underwear. That's not an accident. And he only said something because his stepmom found out.
Yeah.
Other than
He's having
that,
a good time for him.
he was going to relish in the moment and enjoy it and move on. We then see, for some reason, Bruno leave the courtroom. And we're like, because we know there was a picture, a promo picture of Bruno and Olivia in the court lobby, and then she has like his hand on her shoulder. But we didn't know what it was about. And then we get the like biggest fucking
big lore
plot lore of the season that I'm pretty sure nobody saw coming. He mentioned that his parents, when he was a teenager, would have cocktail parties. And they would have all their neighbors over. And then there was one night where his newly divorced neighbor at his parents' cocktail party had a few drinks and ended up sneaking up to his room and climbing into bed with him. He was only wearing boxers.
And she was touching him.
She was on top of him. And then all of a sudden he felt her reach his hand down and touch him. And he didn't say anything because he didn't want her to be embarrassed. Like, I don't think he thought that, like, she knew. Like, if she was doing it in a drunk stupor, like, I don't think she was aware that.
It's still bad. Yeah, it doesn't clarify that, like, she did it on purpose or, like, was just.
And the problem with this, because I forgot to mention that part, is he was 15.
Yeah, so he kind of is like.
So we find out.
I think the difference. I mean, the difference in this is that, like, he didn't do anything for this to happen to him.
Yeah, like he was literally in bed.
And in his room, away from every guest. Not involved in anything going on.
So we find out that Bruno is a victim of a woman and that he was a minor.
Yeah,
And
he
Olivia
never told anybody.
And Olivia's like, "Did you tell anyone?" And he goes, "You, just now."
Mhm.
So he's been holding this in for like 15
And
years.
maybe long, maybe 20 years. I don't know
Maybe
how
longer.
old he is exactly, but at least 15, 20 years if he's in his 30s.
Like,
And that's a long.
literally, this is when I was at the point where I was like, I stopped writing quotes halfway through because I was like crying because we
Yeah,
love Bruno
exactly. And
and
he's never done anything wrong a day in his
never done anything wrong in his life. And then if you
life.
asked me if I thought he would have a storyline like this, I would think you're crazy.
Mhm.
And like I'm on the fence because it is extremely important to have a storyline like this because
Mhm.
unfortunately it does happen and it's not talked about often because a lot of the times it's like, oh, the boy got lucky. An older woman wanted him. Like, no, no, he's still a minor. It's still assault.
Yeah.
And to have someone who's like as, you know, for lack of a better term, like masculine, confident,
Mhm.
etc., as Bruno, be a victim of this really shows that it continues to show that on SVU it can happen to anybody.
He is.
I
Not
my heart hurts because I love him too much and I'm like,
Yeah, he's a
no,
precious person. He's
no,
always doing good for people.
no. And yeah, great. Yeah. So there's that. And he tries to be like he's fine, and then Olivia's like, "You forgot who you're talking to." And then he tells the story, and she just after she realizes she's the only person he's
Mhm.
ever told.
Yeah.
He puts her hand on his shoulder, and they kind of just sit there in silence.
Yep.
Didn't tell his parents. Didn't tell anybody. He trusted Olivia enough to finally reveal this, and he's been holding it inside for years. Like, all right. Anyway, commercial. Then the trial resumes,
Yeah.
and the husband testifies. I don't remember what it was, but there was at one point where, like, okay, Carisi, knock it off.
Yeah. I think that's when she gets
That's
on the
it.
stand. He kind of, it's not his best. It's probably my least favorite court.
Yeah, this is like his
It's not a
least
good one.
worst
Not a
cross
good one. He's pretty intense here
because
about like,
and then he goes to talk the woman testifies, and you could basically tell, oh my god, she feels horrible,
yeah, he kind of nails it to a part about it.
and
Like,
he
I mean, that's
literally
his job. Unfortunately, he didn't have to be that mean about it, but
drilled
like,
into her. He did not have to do
unfortunately,
that, but he did.
yeah. Well, it's your
He
job,
goes
but like,
on
you
to
did
be
go.
like, "Oh, well, you never asked how old he was," and she goes,
Well, he was
"He
at
was
the
at
bar.
a bar with a beer in his hand." I didn't think I had to do that. You
Mhm.
automatically see someone with a beer in their hand, you're gonna think they're at least 21. Um, and then she's like staring at this point. She's like, he looked like a man, his voice was deep. And Grace is like, oh, his voice was deep. And it's like, dude, shut up. What are you doing? What are you doing? Because, like, well, basically, in Carisi's way, he kind of has to stick with the law. Whether she knew it or not, he had sex with 16-year-olds. But in reality, there is a hell of a lot more to this than just that. Um, so yeah. And then afterwards, everyone was like, what the hell did they just do to Carisi?
Exactly. Nobody
Because this
liked.
was like not like him at all. Like he would not normally. berate a woman like this.
Yeah, we're just hoping it's your part of your trauma brain and not
Yeah,
like
you're gonna
just
go with
generally.
that. Hope for the best. And again, we all have to like go into the fact that he was at a bar with a
Yeah,
beer.
yeah,
And being a minor never crossed anybody's mind.
yep.
Then Crazy, in his closing argument, brings out the gender reverse card
Yeah, like if this was a man, we would have had a
and
problem
basically
with
was
it.
like, if the defendant was a man and the victim was a 16-year-old girl,
It would have
like
been a problem.
it would have been open and shut. Period. End of story. Now they have to think of it like that. And then, it's like, okay, this is like the one time I think we've had a case where we didn't want Crazy to win.
Yeah, I was like,
Because this woman doesn't deserve this.
no.
Like, she was drugged and led on. She didn't know. And then the verdict comes, or at least we think it's going to, and it doesn't because the jury
It's a
cannot
mistrial.
come to a verdict.
Yeah, and they don't need more time. They're like, we don't think we need the time. It's
The
like
judge is like, you need more time. They're like, no, we're not gonna
hopelessly deadlocked.
nothing. So mistrial,
Yep.
and the defendant is free.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it's forgotten. Is the thing. It's like just
Yeah,
because you're not guilty does not mean it's not forgotten.
yeah. But if you had to ask us, no, I do not believe she's guilty.
No, I don't either.
So yeah, there's that. Um, not the best episode. Like,
It's
I
a
feel
it's
like they
it's
could have
it's
done
a
a
it's a
hell of a lot better.
yeah it's a two kind of episode. It's
They
not
could have done
good.
the only like good
Redeeming.
part in this was like, Olivia comforting
Yeah,
Bruno.
yeah,
That was about
yeah,
it.
that was about it. Yeah,
Other
that
than
was their
that,
best.
mm-mm.
Yeah, that was their best work.
All right. Well, anyway, next episode
Is
tomorrow
Let Me Bring Pardon.
we get a
That,
little revisit.
yeah, we don't do many, but we do have one from earlier this season.
The
It was based on Gabby Petito, the
yeah,
original one.
the episode that was based on Gabby Petrillo, the girlfriend who was on social media with her boyfriend who
They like
was
traveled together, and then she was
and
dead,
is
and then he.
now in a coma.
Yeah, and the real life case, she is dead, and the boyfriend self exits. But in this case, the boyfriend lived,
Is
and
in
she's on
jail
life
and
support.
she's in a coma.
But she's been in
And
a coma a long, like
she's
six
been in a
months at this
coma
point, because that was
for a
like an
really
early
long time.
26, like 2 or 3. It was early
Yeah.
26.
And then the reason why they have to like revisit this is they find out that she's pregnant.
Yeah, and it can't just happen, if she's in a coma.
So they're like trying to figure out, is it the boyfriend or did a doctor do it while she was in a fucking coma?
Well, she's still in a coma, so it's like,
She's still in a coma. So yeah,
so
someone might have possibly assaulted her while she was in a coma.
yeah. So
Or it could have been
the
the
doctor
boyfriend.
of a
Who
the
knows?
doctor of a the doctor of a comatose woman calls SVU where he discovers his patient is pregnant. Benson must convince the family to reject magical thinking and look at the facts.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah,
And then all the speculating and shit has happened, but now we do know that a trial is happening.
yeah. That's next time. Then the next, well,
Not
next week will be
this
off week.
episode,
Next,
the next episode.
it's off week, and then this episode. It'll be April 5th, 4th, something like that.
And if I remember the summary correctly, it's basically like Creasy has to put his prosecution side aside and testify as a witness in a case. And that Olivia helps the victim who is really struggling in the aftermath.
Yeah. We do get to see Kelly in this
Woo!
episode also. We will have Kelly in this episode, so
I don't remember the last time we had Creasy on the stand. It's got to be at least before
pre
season 21. So
pre defensive pre before you became a lawyer, so
it'll be interesting.
for sure. This will be interesting because we have to sit down and try to like write this out because I want to see how good we can do I know we can
We
argue
all
prosecution
know
pretty
that,
easy.
like, A, Peter's gonna kill it, and B,
Yeah.
Carice is probably going to dig the nails into Deontay's coffin so fucking hard.
The problem is, what is the defense attorney gonna argue?
You don't know who the defense attorney
Defense,
is either.
yeah. The defense attorney could like.
Be
I
like,
mean, look at that. Hopefully, it's not somebody who knows Carisi's like lawyer tactics
I
because they know
swear to
exactly
God.
what buttons to push. Because they know exactly what buttons to push. Because
Yeah,
Carisi's
like,
a very sensitive man.
not.
If he doesn't let it always like let it show, he's very sensitive. So like they push the wrong
Like,
emotion
we
on him.
don't
It's not
need
gonna
him
be good.
being, I'll take him crying on the stand if he's talking about the case. I don't need anyone making him cry.
Yeah.
Um, like, the defense could argue that, like, Deontay didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah.
And he definitely fucking did, but okay.
He did.
So yeah, that's gonna
He
be fun.
doesn't. He doesn't take control of the situation until it's like too late. Like you had a choice. You could have not done this. You know, not robbing people in general is just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Number one, if you want to go back to the beginning here,
Yeah. Robbing people, bad. Letting murder happen, bad. Letting a rape happen, bad.
a lot of bad things happened that day, and we'll
Yeah,
see
the
how it
defense is
goes.
probably gonna be like, yeah, all that happened, but he stopped it in the end.
No, he did.
No, I don't care if he killed Boyd. I don't care.
Exactly. I'm sure that was guy's a terrible person also, but the
Just,
defense could
oh
say
boy,
like, yeah,
buckle
like
up.
he was a willing cooperant up until like the end, where Carisi was like, I already had told you that. Like if you
Yeah, like,
cooperated, it
nope,
might have gone
you're
better.
not actually getting a fucking deal. You're going to prison, asshole.
Have fun. They won't let you out a second time probably. So that'll be interesting. We'll see the trailer tonight. I mean, not tonight, tomorrow night.
Yeah, it was like it's Wednesday still, I think.
Tomorrow night.
Uh,
So that'll be so fun.
damn it, ma'am.
It's gonna be crazy the next couple weeks. A lot of stuff. Oh yeah, we missed that part. We talked about that in the group chat already. But
Yeah, I don't know if she posted it though.
but like I feel like it's when we were saying that like it's PR purposes because
We can
OC
only
trailer
hope.
dropped the same day. It's they got to build the hype somehow.
We can only hope.
Because in the pictures they're not in like set clothes. That's why I'm like, unless they haven't like changed it.
I don't know.
I don't know what we'll talk about. We covered everything, I think.
Yeah, I think we did. I'm not sure. Do, 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 do.
Bunch of
Yes,
stuff happening. Can't think of anything else happening.
I can't either. I'm gonna go watch that trailer.
Yeah. I'm
Because now
gonna
that we know what actually happens, fuck.
yeah, it's gonna be something.
Okay, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening. Ooh, it's trying to watch Game Face. Anyway, that's all. Have a great day. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to
Bye.
like and comment and subscribe and share with your friends. Goodbye.